Hi there and welcome to part 2. You are watching me, Dr. Lisa Ann Homick from Homick Advanced Chiropractic, and also Brain Sense Telehealth Self-Discovery Sessions, and you're listening to part 2 of Why Are You Still in Pain? Because I said at the end of part 1, pain is learned, and you taught it well. Let's continue on. You might be saying to me, well, I had a freak accident that's causing me this pain. How did I teach my body that? Good question. That is a very good question. Well, your nervous system responds to that injury, whether it's a slip, a trip, a stumble, a whiplash, a sprain, or an overexertion. Your brain's memories of past injuries are also in play. Your emotional state at the time of the injury impacts the nervous system's intensity. Your past emotions from similar events are accessed from the brain to assist you now. So we talk about pain. Pain comes from the brain. Your brain decides how much. So we've got to understand that so we can tackle it in a more efficient pattern, a more efficient way, a way that makes sense where we're working with the body, not against the body. But it is that efficient. So, how was your tissue resilience at the time of the injury? That's a question to ask yourself. Were you still healing from another older injury? Doesn't that impact your healing ability? Have you had enough replenishment, rest, and healing between these events? You can't rebuild a house with rotted, soggy boards. Can you picture that? Trying to put a new wall up or repair a door, it's not going to work. You can't have old stuff. You can't just put, what did I say, rotted, soggy boards to refurbish and rebuild that house. Not going to work. How confident are you in your body's healing ability? Do you have a stopwatch you keep clicking? Tick, tick, tick. Taking too long, taking too long, taking too long. This is not normal. Do you have that impatience? Is there some impatient quality to the way you're perceiving your healing? Because we do have expectations. Oh, I should be better by now. And that adds to your frustration. I think that's normal. But we can understand that and do better things for ourselves. Are you aware the nervous system intensity fluctuates up and down during the healing phase? Up and down, up and down. So you're going to say, oh, I'm good, I'm bad, it's rotten, it's not going well right now. But it's still healing. We don't want to criticize the healing, even if you're in a stage that's much more uncomfortable than you had hoped you would be in. There is an up and down between that sympathetic and parasympathetic activity, and that's the typical healing process. So those 4 functional levels of the nervous system that I keep talking about, they have varying intensities. There's a tongue twister there. Now, when I say pain is learned and you taught it well, does anyone else talk like that? Does anybody else make that connection there to help you understand the healing process? You know, the ones who told you to get used to it. The folks who said, accept it as aging. Do they know pain is learned? Pain is learned and you taught it. What? You taught your brain how to teach it to heal. It already knows how to heal. So let me back up there for a minute. Your body already knows how to heal. It's called that inborn healing. It's called that innate intelligence. Sometimes that healing process is preoccupied. Probably because you're preoccupied. One of the 4 functional levels of the nervous system is preoccupied. Maybe more than one. So let's take the word preoccupied and replace it with programmed. The nervous system is programmable. We've figured that out with neuroplasticity studies. And I've mentioned my favorite books on that topic. The nervous system is programmable. You can make healing programmable. Now that sounds weird. You have the healing ability, but sometimes you need to bump it up. It needs some TLC. And if the nervous system is preoccupied with stress in a sympathetic state, your healing will not be experienced because that's supposed to be in the parasympathetic state. Remember Bruce Lipton and his very simple, to the point saying, you cannot be in a state of growth and defense at the same time. One is going to dominate. And while you go back and forth all day, your day is going to be sympathetic vagus. And when I say vagus, that's the parasympathetic. So you're going to go in and out. That's a typical day for you. And if you know, of course, your best healing occurs during sleep. So sleep is that state where you're not in fight or flight. Sleep is sleep, and you need it. Probably the best advice, the simplest, is get good sleep every night on a schedule. Not sleeping late this day, going to bed early this day, It's got to be stable, same time every night, same time every morning that you're getting up. You have self-healing ability, but our crazy busy world gets in the way, shuts it right down. The curse of modern life. How can we support that vagus state of healing? That parasympathetic state of healing? How do we support that? Well, you know the basics. Chiropractic care, sleep, exercise, and living with purpose. Those are the basics. Sometimes we really have to nudge ourselves. We have to nudge ourselves to get out of that unnecessary fight or flight and nudge ourselves to take self-care seriously. We can also delve deeper into the 4 functional levels of the nervous system, knowing if you are getting the most appropriate response at each of the levels. We don't want too much and we don't want too little. Too much nervous system, too little nervous system. We don't want that. Goldilocks and the 3 bears, Goldilocks was smart, just right. Once you realize how you taught yourself to be in pain, an inappropriate, unserving level of pain, you can take new steps to unlearn it. Sounds crazy, right? The survival system in that fight or flight process, it needs to be retaught, reprogrammed, simmered down. That's another way of putting it. We don't need to be in survival mode as often as we are. So we can just sit back and just evaluate our typical day. We don't need to be in survival mode that often. It's there to help us. But we also have that prefrontal cortex to help us reshape our day, plan things out better so we can prevent that excessive fight or flight response. It takes practice to learn new things like playing the piano, crocheting a blanket, fly fishing, memorizing a speech. That kind of learning is the same kind of learning to change your health and to change the way you address your health. That learning. And yes, it's clumsy. Learning anything new, you're going to feel awkward and clumsy and self-conscious. So if you are feeling clumsy and awkward and self-conscious, say, yay, I'm in learning mode. Remember when you tried to play that musical instrument or play a new game or a new sport? Yes, you were very clumsy and awkward and self-conscious, but you stuck with it. And you probably had a good teacher who helped you hang on and not give up too soon. Learning to ride a bike, oh, you were as clumsy as anything. So we can smile and look back. We've done it in the past. We've been successful. And we didn't let that clumsy phase stop us. We didn't quit. We didn't say, oh, I've had enough. Forget it. I'm not going back there because I'm too awkward, I'm too clumsy, and I'm too self-conscious. And that's when the prefrontal cortex takes center stage to get it done. The limbic system takes a back seat. It goes to the beach. It takes a nice vacation. That limbic system doesn't have to kick in and put you in that emotional survival mode based on old memories. You're giving your limbic system new memories of learning. So fight or flight has to be turned down so the prefrontal cortex can get to work. Remember, kids, they can't learn. They can't go to school and learn if they're hungry or tired. They're just not prepared for that day of learning. Same thing goes for you and your nervous system so you can have healing. You've got to prepare yourself for healing. And that prep is important. Here's your prep: chiropractic, exercise, nutrition, a better mindset, a mindset that's going to be free of that clutter, that mental clutter of being self-conscious and self-critical and feeling clumsy. Although you are going to feel clumsy, so welcome it. Don't get perturbed by it. You want to have that mindset that's free of fear, free of self-doubt, free of that destructive peer pressure that's going to tell you to quit or to tell you to take that shortcut of a pill, of that prescription. And you don't have to do it alone. I'll do it with you. It's much more meaningful and rewarding when you've got a partner to do it with you. So that's why we have BrainSense telehealth self-discovery sessions. That's why we have chiropractic care. Remember, pain is a message from the nervous system. It's a message. Really, it's time to delve in and understand the message, the reason for that message of your pain. We don't want to fall back on the old tired beliefs about aging and getting used to it. We can get reacquainted with ourselves. I want you to get reacquainted with yourself and introduce yourself to the person you've never been before. Introduce yourself to the person you knew in the past. Get reacquainted and get reacquainted and introduced to the new you. So how do you do that? You understand the opportunity for chiropractic care. You understand the opportunity for BrainSense telehealth self-discovery sessions. And take off. So you can watch the other videos. They may be old, but the message is still important. Look at the blog, createpurpose.com. And I have a podcast called Brain Snob Podcast that is different from the YouTube. Take it all in because I want it to be helpful. I want it to help you realize there's more out there. There are more options for you. So while we're scratching the surface and hopefully giving you inspiration and excitement, then you delve deeper. Get under some chiropractic care and do some self-discovering sessions through BrainSense telehealth. Thanks for watching today.